How's it going, everybody? And welcome back to another installment of Tech Support Thursday. This is ticket number 7. So, woo! So I'm going to go back through and read questions from, let's say, 6 days ago and newer, and go ahead and knock this out. So there was a couple questions that came through Twitter that were direct messages to me. What am I currently working on? The past couple of weeks, I've been working on a VXLAN deep dive, testing a lot of different features and capabilities. So that is almost done. Hopefully I'll have that done in another couple days. I've got a couple more things to test out, but I've had a lot of good progress. So good stuff there. So this question came from Tech Support Thursday ticket 6. The question was, "Hi Rob, when you were making your SD-WAN series, what pen pad product do you use to draw all the lines?" I use 2 products, actually. I use a Wacom Intuos Pro tablet. I think I got it on eBay, or was it Amazon? I don't remember. I paid like $125 for it. So, but then again, I used YouTube money to pay for it. So, thank you to all of you that have subscribed and have become a member that have helped me buy things. I also use a application called Ink2Go. It's allows me to draw, and Ink2Go is what I use for all that. On this video, so we have on CCNP, there's Cisco CCNP Encore and NRC L2 Series 001 VLANs and SPIs. "Hey Rob, I am about to join the course. I need your help in clarifying a few doubts. My PC configuration below. Could you please confirm if I can run the topology?" The CPU is a Ryzen 7 5800X, 64 gigs of RAM, can go to 128 if you need to. I would like to bring in a few Juniper devices. I have the images in place of Cisco switches, Cisco devices. Can I do it? I don't know AMD processors that well, but I believe if it's a Ryzen 7, if they, I'd have just make sure that it supports virtualization first and foremost, and that the clocking on the CPU is like 2 gigahertz or better. So other than that, that's kind of my that's my baseline for what I use. Normally I use Intel. I've got an i7 9800. Yeah, I think it's a 9800K in my computer right now. So that should work. You can bring any image that's supported by Eve into Eve if you want. Just follow the documentation. On AnyConnect client remote ASAV AnyConnect client remote access VPN configuration via ASDM. Is there a way to get AnyConnect users to pull DHCP from an internal DHCP server and not the router? And what he's referencing is when you set up AnyConnect, you need to give it a pool of addresses so that whenever a user is trying to connect via the client, they'll get an IP address from the local DHCP pool. So I believe there is, I just don't know how to do it. So I know you can configure DNS internally to point to an internal DNS server to resolve internal destinations. So instead of typing in 10.1.1.10 to get to server 10, you would type in server 10.lab.local, for example, and then that would automatically send you to the right endpoint. So how to do that off the box, I don't know, but I'm sure it's supported. I can't see Cisco not letting that happen. How to set up Cisco SD-WAN and EVE-NG. I gotta thank you so much. You are welcome. On VMware DCB22 deploy virtual machine from a template. First comment. Yes, you were. On Tech Support Thursday ticket 6. "Hi Rob, I have a question for you in regards to ASA. I don't know how to configure properly. I've watched a video of yours and I'm wondering if you have a full tutorial on how to configure ASA from scratch CLI only." And I responded with, whoops, not that one. I want to click on view all 6 replies. I responded with any specific requirements, and this particular person responded with NAT ACL, inspection policy, DMZ, DHCP, IPsec. I said, oh, so basically everything. And that's literally what the ASA is job to do. So If there's something that you want to see covered, there are videos on that. You just have to go search the videos on the channel. So it's not hard to do that. Click on videos on the channel and then go search for ASA. Whoops. That screwed me up. Let's see, where are we? Okay, here we go. Another one on deploying virtual machine from a template. Thank you so much. Your content is very rich. Keep going, please. And I really appreciate that. Thanks again for sharing. You're welcome. But thank you for commenting. DCV VMware DCV 4. What the DCV deployment will look like. Rob, what do you use for graphic documentation? I use PowerPoint and PowerPoint icons, because then I can, if I wanted to make a presentation out of it, I could. I use PowerPoint pretty regularly to do that type of stuff. Let's talk about Palo Alto, VM Virtual Wire or vWire, and tap interfaces. Thanks. You explained in the first 60 seconds of your video better than any Palo Alto document I found in the last 5 minutes of searching. Makes total sense. Thanks. You're welcome. Deploy a VMware DCB3, deploying Server 2012 R2 ADD, Active Directory Domain Services, ADDS, and DNS. I'm curious why you didn't just build this on one of your ESXi hosts pre-vCenter deployment. Well, trying to think back why I didn't do that. I honestly don't recall off the top of my head, but the reason why I build stuff inside of VMware Workstation is it gives you more. To me, it's easier to help illustrate how things are getting built versus doing it inside of a ESXi host and then building off of that. That gets convoluted and people are like, wait, how are you doing that again? SD-WAN 3, SD-WAN VPNs overview, and SD-WAN controllers setup. I'm having issues getting the certificate to install on the vBond and vSmart. The root CA certificate installs with no issues. However, when I add the controller to the vManage, he's referring to the vBond and vSmart. Generate a CSR, create a server from iOS CA with the crypto PKI server PKI request PKCS10 terminal command, and then try to install the certificate from vManage GUI. It errors out. This is the error I get. And the error that I'm seeing is unable to validate the certificate. Is it the certificate chain? Yeah. Error, root CA chain unable to validate the certificate, aborting. So typically when you see this type of stuff, it's more often than not, from what I can remember, and I might be wrong on this, probably am, but it finishes the question was, has anyone else had this issue? Tried deleting out the root CA, reinstalling it, regenerating the CSR, and a bunch of other stuff. So my guess is it's probably the certificate that you're generating is invalid yet. I ran into that problem a couple of times when I was testing out 18.04, and it was one of those things where I had to go and make sure that the time was correct. And once the time was correct, I was good to go. So make sure the certificate is actually valid when you're doing it, and that's on the vManage side. So the certificate will always be valid from the CA's side of the house because they're generating it, and you should validate the time on the vManage and all your controllers to make sure that they have the correct time and adjust the time appropriately. So that's going to be the big thing to pay attention to. Is you might even want to use NTP in the network and just point everything to a centralized NTP device. On SD-WAN 32, VPN segmentation and VPN membership. Great series, Rob. Highly appreciated making this SD-WAN series. Keep it up, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. The next one is going to be VMware Basics 6, ESXi 6.0, and ESXi 6.7 host networking setup. Okay. My desktop connected to my home router where it get IP from DHCP. I install 3 ESXi on my VMware Workstation 15 bridge mode, and all are get IP from my Wi-Fi router. But when I check ARP in router, I found MAC address are all same for all. It creates a connectivity issue. I don't know how to resolve this. Router consider my desktop physical. Yeah, so okay. Yeah, so the problem that he's running into is he's getting a bunch of different IP addresses, and they all have the same MAC address associated to that. And that is a good question. I'm not sure why. That's weird. D3C90C. Yeah, they're all the same. Minus one of them, which is different. So what should happen when you on the interfaces that are tied on the ESXi host that you've installed inside a VMware Workstation, their network adapters should be tied to the bridge network, and Workstation should automatically generate different source MAC addresses for each one of those network adapters, so that they all have unique MACs, so that when you're going out and doing DHCP, you're not running into that problem. Because what I see happening here is you get 192.168.1.35, then 37, then 38, then 39, so on and so forth. And basically what's happening is, from the outside perspective, the reason why you can't, if you're trying to remote into or connect to one of those devices, you're getting multiple devices that are responding to the same MAC address. And this is wherein lies the problem. So all of you might need to go in. I don't know if you can do this in Workstation. You might want to check this out. Check it, see if it's supported. Is statically define the MAC addresses if that's a possibility. And as I'm pretty sure you can. I know in ESXi I can. You can go in there and you can statically assign the MAC addresses that you want to be there. Go look to see if you can do that, or go look it up. That's one thing. I've never ran into that before, but if that continues to happen, what will end up happening is you'll continue to do the DORA process, and you'll run into problems with that down the road, where you'll get into DHCP starvation attacks, which means that your devices will continue trying to grab an IP address and will pull all the available IP addresses from your DHCP pool. That could potentially happen here too, so just be conscientious of that. On security VPN, IKEv2 LAN-to-LAN VPN between two routers. Nice video. I had that keyring issue before too, and usually I do not use keyring config because of that. Straight PSK command and GG, which I think is good game. So if you're going to be using VRFs, then I believe you're going to have to. But I've used the keyring command multiple times, and I think you associate it to the IKEv2 profile, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've done IKEv2, but yeah, if that does the trick for you, go right ahead, because I know you don't have to use the keyring. You can use other ways of doing it, but obviously it's one of those things where you would want to use whatever the standards are. Well, I did it without it and did a video on it. I did a lab without using the keyring, and it does work. You just have to specify the pre-shared key somewhere else. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all the questions that I have for. This was a short one. Actually, we're under 20 minutes for the first time I think ever. So, yeah, just in case anybody's wondering, I am currently working through the VXLAN series. I'm hoping to have that done here very, very soon. Part of me wants to go do a Lisp series and cover that and get it all working, but part of me is like, I want to go dive into AWS and go get some AWS out of the way, but I also want to finish up my NSXT studies and knock out NSXT. So I don't really know. I have a lot of things that I want to go do, but there's only so much time in the day to go do it. But yeah, other than that, If anybody's waiting on the VXLAN series to be finished, I have a bunch of content already created. I am just in one of those situations where I am wanting to finish the series before I release it, so that it's just a matter of releasing, and that gives me like 3 weeks of content, or actually no, 20 videos, 22 videos, something like that. That'll give me like a month's worth of content to release if I release Monday through Friday, but I usually only release 2 or 3 videos a week, so good stuff there. With that being said, that's pretty much everything I have for you today in this video. Thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with me. If you haven't already done so, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to become a member, hit that membership down there. It is a small nominal fee of $10 a month. That goes to me for the topology development and stuff like that. You get the topology file, the EVE-NG file, as well as the configurations for anything that's up there. I am going to be working on I'll recreate the service provider series. I'll recreate that topology and put it up there, as well as with some of the initial configurations and things like that. So things I'm working on. Until next time, guys, thanks again so much for everybody that's been a continued supporter of the channel. I do appreciate it. Until next time, guys, take her easy.